Hey guys, what's up? This is JRP77 from JG Games. In this tutorial, we are going to be creating a lever in which whenever we walk in to a region and we press the E key, it logs to the console that the door was opened, and then later it logs that the door was closed, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, there's not going to be any animation in this one. This is simply scripting, and in the next tutorial, we are actually going to be covering animation. So stick around if you'd like to see how the script works and how we're going to be making it. So stick around. If you're looking for gaming peripherals, look no further than the SteelSeries. They offer some of the highest quality headsets, keyboards, and mice for a relatively low price. If you'd like to see some of their items on sale, use the link in the description to go check those out. Without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial. Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to be creating the script that's going to allow the lever to open the door whenever we enter a certain region and whenever we hit a key. So that's basically all there is to the script. It's a very straightforward script, but if you're a beginner or straight noob at Unity, then this may be a bit difficult. I'm gonna try to go slow and explain everything, but I'm just gonna try to roll on with this tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna open up Unity, and I've already got a project made, but if you don't have one, you can go to New Project and then put in all your information here. I've already got one, so I'm gonna open this. Now in here, it's just a very straightforward scene. Yours may not be in 2D, mine is because I was in orthographic view. Basically, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to import a few packages that Unity provides. So we're going to go right click down here and we're going to go import package characters. This is the bigger one, and so I recommend importing it first because the prototyping one doesn't take that long. Basically what this is going to allow us to do is have a first person character in our project. So this takes kind of a while because it's got third person in there, but just for simplicity you just import the entire package. Plus it comes with all the scripts, so you don't worry if you're going to miss anything. So that's what I do. Alright, so now that this is imported, we're going to right click again and we're going to import the prototyping package. Now this is completely out of preference for me. I like using this because it allows me to make my scene look a bit better. You do not have to do this. This is not required. This is just all personal preference. I don't have any of the scripts selected. All I have is the materials. So I'm going to go to materials. First of all, I'm going to go to game object, create 3D object cube. And I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to scale this 100 by 0.1 by 100 just to give me this nice environment. And I'm going to go to materials, navy grid, and drop it onto there. Now I'm going to delete the main camera by right clicking and hitting delete. And then I'm going to go to standard assets, characters, first person, prefabs, rigid body, FPS controller. I'm just going to drop it into there so that we have this. And I'm also going to go 000 for him. And he should be above the ground, and he is, so that's good. Now let's import our model in. So I'm going to go right click, import new asset, and mine is in a folder, and you can actually import the Blender file. You don't have to export it, which is really nice. And then I'm going to drag and drop this in the hierarchy so that it lands right on the player, and I'm going to rotate this around 180 degrees. I apologize, I'm going really fast. Then I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to scale this down a ton, and I'm going to move it up to where it's about camera level. Now I'm going to click game object, 3D cube, and I'm going to move this in. I'm going to hit F to focus on the cube and zoom out. And I'm going to hit R. I'm going to scale this on the Z like so. Basically I'm just making a very basic door, and then I'm going to move this in right here. Alright, so now let's set up the actual lever itself. It takes a bit of setting up, but it's actually not that difficult. We're going to click on the model, the parent object, and we're going to click Add Component, Box Collider. Now here we're going to set this to something like 10 by 20 by 10. And that should give us a region in which we can, well, interact with the lever. I'm also going to move this down a little bit. Alright, I'm going to move this out to about 20 actually. And I'm also, actually 10 is fine. We're actually going to end up wanting 5 because by the time I move this, we're going to move the center of the collider to the back of it because we don't want to enable the lever from outside of it. I'm going to make this 10 anyways and adjust this as well. And this can be 10 too. 20 is good. And I moved it too far. So move it right there. Alright, now that we have this, we are going to go ahead and write the script. But before that, we need to set isTrigger to true. I'm going to go to add component and I'm going to type in lever script. Cool little Unity trick. If you type in this thing and nothing pops up and you click new script, it will automatically create you a new script with a title. Nice little trick. So now I'm going to open this up in MonoDevelop and it should pop up right in here. Nope, of course it pops up on my second monitor. So I'm going to move this in, make this go full screen. Now I'm going to Shift Control plus to scale up the text so you guys can read this. Alright, so we need two variables for this. We need a boolean and we need a float. The boolean is going to handle whether or not the door is open or not, and the float is going to be a timer. So I'm going to say bool door open is equal to false. Now I'm going to create a public float timer, semicolon. Now I'm going to create a new function called onTriggerStay. Now this is actually a built-in Unity function and it looks for anything that says this so that it knows what to do. And we are going to give this a variable right here, collider col. Now we don't really need to do this. I like to have it because it just makes sense, especially when you're getting into having, I don't know, multiple things. Actually, we don't need this. I'm going to keep it. I don't know. I'm very indecisive about this. So now we're going to say if input.getKeyDown keycode.e, and in here we're going to say door open is equal to true. Then we're going to say debug.log, because we're not doing any animation, this is just to say that the door opened. And then we're going to say start coroutine, and then this is case sensitive, in quotation marks, close door. It doesn't have to be, that doesn't need to be the name of the function, but you have to name your function that. So I'm going to go ahead and explain basically what this does. This function up here, this title, basically just tells Unity if you stay inside of this object, because remember in Unity we said on the model isTrigger, that just checks to see if the trigger, if there's something that stays inside of the trigger. That's all that does. Then we have this if input.getKeyCode.e. This basically just looks to see if we press the key E once. We can have it to where if we hold it down, but for a door you just want E. E is generally the use key, so that's what I used in this example. Then we set the door open variable to true so that whenever you hit E, if you start hitting E again, it won't like open and close the door randomly. And debug.log, this just prints to the console that the door was open. We're going to replace this line later. And then this starts an external function, what's called an IEnumerator, which allows us to do timers and stuff. Because void is just the basic function, but there's actually many types of functions like class, IEnumerator is one, IEnumerable. There's a ton of them. So now that we have this, and I kind of explained it, we are going to create an IEnumerator. And we are going to call this close door. This has to be the exact same title that you put in right here. And we're going to give it two parentheses like that, just like a function. And we are going to say yield return new, wait for seconds, and then we're going to put timer in parentheses. This will just basically tell the function to wait to run the next line of code until time has gone this far. So now that we have this, we are going to say door open is equal to false. We want to set this first, and then debug.log door closed. Once we've done that, we're going to save this and make sure I didn't miss any semicolons, and then we're going to jump back into Unity. Shouldn't have any errors. It says that we haven't used door open but that's just basically, you should get something very similar to that. We're going to set this timer to 3 seconds. And now we are done. That's all we have to do. So I'm going to click play. And then I'm going to turn around. You can see you can move around with the WASD keys, and then you look around with your mouse. So I'm going to walk up to this. That's way too high. I'm going to hit E, and you'll see at the bottom right corner, I'll zoom in on it. It says door opened and then door closed. And then if I hit it again, door open, and then wait a few seconds, door closed. And that's what you want to see. You want to see that, and that's why we did that, so that you could still see the you could tell if the door was open or closed. And so that's basically scripting the lever. And the next tutorial, we're going to be animating both the door and the lever itself. And we're going to have this cool animation where like the hand comes down and then all of a sudden this door opens. So that will be a longer tutorial. I'll probably do 2 parts. I'll probably do basically just the basic animation in the first one, like almost like getting started with the animation, and then I'll do the second one, which is animating the hand, and we'll get into like animating materials. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to comment down below and subscribe. Check out the Steel Series website using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.